Great. Thank you, Nelson.
Yes.
So I label it the art of setting expectation. To be honest, I don't know why I named it. I just thought it was quite kind of a cool name, right? But I think the key word here is actually pre-framing. Now, if you have attended, now who here has attended EKW? If you attend EKW, type me in the chat. EKW, I see Nelson with a thumbs up. If you have attended the EKW, type me in the chat. Fantastic. Fantastic. And those who have not attended EKW, please do. It will probably change your Enagic career and your Enagic business forever. Oops. Okay, so in the EKW, right, you have probably heard of the leaders that go on stage and they talk about expectations and they use the word called pre-framing, right? Pre-framing your customers, your distributors, your team, even your upline. And some people, they go like, oh, pre-framing, but they don't really understand what pre-framing is. Pre-framing, to be honest, is literally managing expectations. So when I use the word pre-framing here, it is both meaning intended, managing expectations. All right. So what is an expectation? Why is an expectation so important? I think all of us, we understand the meaning, but I'll just hammer the idea again. It is basically a strong belief that something will happen or be the case in the future. Now, when you joined the Enagic business, you had an expectation. What expectation you had? It's up to you. Maybe the expectation was, oh, this could be my breakthrough in life. Or this could be the business that will give me tons of money and I can retire early. No, you had some sort of expectation in your head when you first came into this Enagic business. You had some sort of expectation when you met the person who introduced you to the product and the business at the same time, right? And this expectation can play such an important role in determining your energy, your direction, and how fast you kickstart your actions toward the goal that you intended. Correct? If you had low expectations about the Enagic business, believe me, you wouldn't even move. You wouldn't even be in this Zoom call. Am I right? But because you had high expectations or you had some sort of motivating expectations in the Enagic business that has led you to, for example, Nelson, he went to the I think it's a hawker store, if I'm not mistaken, right? And he spoke to the lady, and I mean, if he didn't have any expectations in the business, I don't think he would have done that at all, right? But because he knew that the machine, he knew that the machine could do something, so he went, he spoke to the lady with the problem, and he managed to close the sale, right? So why are expectations important? They serve as a baseline for what we will be pleased with, and he also gives a direction and a goal-driven purpose. Now, in the Enagic business, what are the areas that are important for managing expectations? I've kind of listed it into 5 different areas. You have your prospects, then they become your customers. Customers can become your downline, your upline, or your sponsor, as well as yourself. All right. So let's just kickstart with the first stage. Now, a prospect. Now, I just want to clarify, a prospect and a lead is 2 different things. A lead is someone that you have yet to speak to about the Enagic business or even the Kangen machine. So the lead is step 1, very far away. Now, but now step 2, the prospect. Now, I've been in this business for quite a few bits. I have a few downlines underneath me. I've also heard many stories about other people's journey in the Enagic business. I also heard some leaders mention these mistakes. And the one biggest mistake that a lot of distributors do is that they tend to intentionally hide information or steer the prospect and give them a false expectation on the invitation that we send to them. You guys get me? For an example, I had a good friend who just joined the business about 2-3 months ago, and I was kind of coaching him, I was teaching him, I was kind of guiding him on how to prospect, how to bring people into the demo. And for whatever reason, he decided to tell the prospect, hey, there is a party going on, there's going to be food. And there's going to be all my friends coming for this event. And oh yeah, we're going to also talk about money. Now, is that a wrong invitation? Does that give a wrong expectation to your prospect for him to come? If you think so, type yes. Thank you. Yes, right? It is. It is wrong. Our intention might have been correct. We wanted them to come and see the presentation. We wanted to come and see the product because they wanted. Perhaps we had such strong beliefs that this product and business could change their lives. But the intention or the way that we invited the customer was completely off because it gave him the wrong expectation. I told him that there was food, told him that there was a party, told him they were also talking about money. Now, why did this happen with my downline? Even myself, when I first started, I did this mistake too. It was because, to be honest with you, it's just a fear of rejection. It could be desperation. Maybe you wanted the business to succeed so much, you just, I don't know, threw whatever ball that you could throw, right? And largely is because you had a lack of confidence in yourself and what you had to say and what you represent, right? So guys, the first impressions really matter, especially with your prospects, because your prospects are basically your first step into building your magic business. If you give a wrong expectation to your prospect, I can almost tell you, your prospect will never see you ever again if he discovers the truth. And you will basically lose that prospect forever, right? No matter how small you steer him away, or no matter how small the information you hide away, as long as you break his if you give him the wrong expectation, he finds out that it's not what he really thought it was. He loses trust with you. He loses rapport with you. Gone. Bye-bye. Right? So fear of rejection, fear of alienation, desperation, lack of confidence in yourself and what you have to say to them. So approaching prospects with clear and purposeful intentions from the start, pre-framing our prospects. It took me quite a while to learn how to do this. Hey guys, I want to introduce you to a direct selling opportunity. It took me quite a while to do that because I was fear of being rejected, because all my friends around me, all my families around me hated direct selling. They hated MLM. And I just didn't know how to talk to them about it, right? But the moment I was able to say, hey, guys, I have a direct selling opportunity. If they ask me MLM, I said yes. To be honest with you, the moment I told them the truth, they opened up immediately. Yes, they had some defense, but they were willing to listen. They were willing to see my picture, see my vision, right? And that was the start. And that's how I got some of my close friends to join me in this business, right? So pre-framing our prospects from the start, it is a direct selling business. You cannot hide that truth, right? You have to build trustworthiness with you and the company. The moment you hide that it's an MLM company or direct selling company, Enagic's name's value go down. Agree? It does, right? You must position yourself. You represent Enagic. You need to be confident. You need to be proud of that. You got to position yourself. Hey guys, this product from this amazing company can change your life. And you know that for a fact, so you need to position yourself up there. Cultivate the confidence. Keep doing it over and over again. Just tell people, hey, I'm in a direct selling business. I'm in a direct selling business. I'm in MLM business. Do that. Build that confidence so that you are not ashamed of doing so. And it avoids misunderstanding when you pre-frame your prospects. Build the habit of communicating clearly and concisely. It will go a long way in our Enagic business. Because why? Your prospects may be your future team. Clear so far? Clear so far? If you're still with me, type yes in the chat. Thank you, Nick. Thank you. Now, customers' expectation. This one is a bit tricky. It is a bit tricky. It's a bit hard to deal with because why? A customer I'm referring to is an end user. All right. An end user sometimes. Now, I want to state this first. We are Enagic distributors. We are not after sales team for Enagic. They're two different things. We are not a technician from Enagic. But sometimes some of us, we take that role. Sometimes some of us in our business, in our Enagic business, we tend to focus more on the after-sales servicing than actually the prospecting. I'm guilty of that when I first started the business because I thought that that was the way, right? And I would just, a customer wanted this, okay, I go and get this for him. Customer wanted that, customer got a problem, okay, I go and handle everything, right? So basically, I became their sales service boy. Now, is that a job of an Enagic distributor? Yes, initially. But I've seen some distributors, after 1-2 years, they're still servicing the customer. E-cleaning also he doing. Not even deep cleaning, e-cleaning. You know, change filter also, he has to go and change the filter. Refill the enhancer also, he has to go to his house and fill the enhancer. Now, this is a very tricky situation because why? An end user, right, he expects a certain amount of sales, after sales servicing quality. I get that. Right, but I think to be very clear here, guys, we are not technicians. We are not after-sales service people. We are Enagic distributors, and we are here to build our business and help people build their Enagic business as well. Let Enagic staffs deal with the after-sales servicing. But of course, you initially handle that. Now, why do I say this, right? It's because sometimes we don't want to, for us, maybe out of desperation, for me, especially for me, out of desperation, we see, oh, perhaps a customer can refer some customers, can refer some people. Maybe I can get extra sales. So I need to properly service that customer, take care of what he needs. But to be honest, sooner or later, you end up being a slave to that customer, right? Because the more, if you don't pre-frame your customer saying, hey, now I've sold you the machine, I'm going to help you service your machine for the first and second month only. Servicing meaning e-cleaning, right? I'm going to teach you how to do the e-cleaning process for your first and second month. After that, you need to do it yourself. Because if you don't do that, if you don't position yourself in the beginning, I can almost tell you, you will become your customer's slave. And he will take advantage of you, and he will jump on you, and he will basically use you continuously for the e-cleaning, which is supposed to be manual anyway. Deep cleaning is a different thing. Deep cleaning, you can charge for the service. So that makes sense. But e-cleaning, you can't, it doesn't make sense, right? So pre-frame yourself as an Enagic distributor. When you sell your machine to your customer, do not become the slave of your customer. right? Because that can really affect your mentality. And it can also affect if you decide to, okay, customer, I promised you this, but now I have to change this. Now that can really change the dynamics of you and your customer. So pre-frame from the start. Set the expectation right from the start. All right. Downline expectation. This is something that I struggled with for a longest time when I was doing the Enagic business. Before I go on, I want to ask the chat a few questions. Who here just joined the Enagic business? When I say just joined, maybe first year in. Type me in the chat. I see you. I see you. Now, who here has been struggling in... Now, getting a downline is one thing. Getting a downline is one thing, but getting your downline to move in the business. Who here has been struggling to get their downline to move in the business? Type 8 in the chat. Who here got no downline? I didn't have a downline for quite a while, right? I had end users, but I didn't really have a downline. Right? Who here had a downline? He joined the business. After 1 month, like when he joined the business, he was like, yeah, Egbert, I want to do the business with you. I want to make money with you. Yeah, let's do it together. Boom, boom, boom. After 1 month, he hilang. He hilang, right? If he hilang on you, type H in the chat for hilang. I will type 2 because it happened to me too. Right? So I would assume all of us, right? All of us have that experience, because what happens to you, what happens to me, what happens to our upline happens to me. And you, what happens to Sam Sia happens to all of us. Oh, it's H, hilang means disappear. Sorry, Balu. I forgot that there was an international guest. So, to be honest with you, there was one time I went to Sam Sia, and I asked Sam, how do you get your downlines to stay? How do you get your downlines to move? How do you get your downlines to, start the business with you? And Sam said, have you sat down with your prospect? In my head, I'm like, yeah, I've done that many times. Bring out for lunch, bring out for coffee, talk about the business, talk about this, talk about that. And then Sam said, no. Have you really sat down and talked about the business? Have you pre-framed your downline? And then thought in my head, I'm like, no, I've not done that. Then he's like, then what have you been doing? Go drink tea and drink coffee with your downline. And I was like, good point. Good point. Because I realized that when I tried to build my distributors, I did not pre-frame him at all. Now, what is pre-framing your downline mean? See, right? When your downline joins the business, the Enagic business, he joins because of you. He joins because he bought into the vision that you have in the Enagic business. A downline never joins because, oh, I really love the machine, I'm going to join the business. Yes, that is one small part of why he joined the business, but the downline joins because of you. He's going to ask you, hey, how come you do this business? You give your vision. You give what you expect out of the business. And he's like, hey, I want that too. Exactly. You need to say the downline joins because of you. So when he joins the business with you, he's expecting that you will guide him in the business, correct? Pre-framing is literally the first step of guiding him. I won't say first step, it's literally a continuous step that you have to take every week, every month, every year for your downline. Scary, yeah? Some of us thought that pre-framing was just the beginning. Some of us thought that managing expectation was just the beginning, but no. I realized when I was doing the magic business, my upline, Simon Low, Ming Wei, they were literally pre-framing me every single time I met them. For an example, they asked me, pre-framing means managing expectations. They always ask me, so what do you expect out of this business, Egbert? In my head, I'm like, financial abundance. You know, I want to get my dream house. I want to get my dream car. I want to get this. I want to get that. And they always ask me, so how much do you need for that? In my head, I'll be like, I want like a million ringgit a month. And every time I say a million ringgit a month, you know what Mingwei and Simon does? They manage my expectation. They tell me, nope, don't think that way. It's good to dream big, but you need to manage your expectations. This is what's going to happen in your first few years. But. This is what you can expect in making in your first few years. But. Now, is it pushing him down on his dreams? No. It's telling him, or is kind of reassuring him that even if he gets something lower, it's okay, so that he doesn't get burned out, he doesn't get disappointed with the results in the nudging business. Because to be honest, right, some of us in the business, we tend to overpromise and oversell the idea of joining this business. Some of us in our presentation, we say, this can be your retirement fund, this can be everything that you need, blah, 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 blah. This can give you your Ferrari or whatever dream house and everything. And sometimes, to be honest, that's overpromising, right? To be honest, to solve that, you need to use the GPP and the 4 categories. Now, if you're not aware of what the GPP stands for, is the Global Partnership Program, GPP. Using the GPP and the 4 categories of customers is exactly pre-framing your customers to know what they should be expecting out of the business. Because you don't want them to join the business, they don't get the results they were expecting, and then what happens? They fizzle out, and what happens to you? You become the biggest loser. Because your downlines will have a lot of expectations. Your downlines will have a lot of dreams, a lot of goals and everything. You can be like, I'll be able to get this in like a few months, this or whatever, right? But you need to come in as an upline and you need to manage his expectations properly. If not, he'll be disappointed with his results. He might fizzle out. He might just quit. And you don't want that. Now, that's the first part of managing your downline's expectation. The second one is this one. It's called be clear with their involvement in the business and their responsibility. I think this is very important. Who here have spoken to, I don't know, someone who wanted to join the business, and they said this. They said, but I don't expect myself doing all the demo. I don't expect myself doing the presentations. I don't expect myself pushing the sales. And you, when you heard that, you said this. Don't worry. You just introduce them, bring them into the event. I will handle everything for you. Who has done this? If you have done this, don't type anything in the chat. I have done it too, right? Is that correct pre-framing or is that wrong pre-framing? Is that managing his expectations properly? It is wrong. Alan says it's wrong. Why is it wrong? It's wrong because I think it's written right there. You are being a slave to your downline. Now, what is the Enagic business, guys? The Enagic business is your own personal Kangen water business. It is your own business. So much so for your downlines too, the Enagic business is their own business. Now, when you come in and you start saying, oh, you just give me the leads, you just introduce the people, and I will help you sell the machines for you. I will help you service your customers. I'll help you doing this. Now, does that give your downline a wrong expectation about the Enagic business? It does. It gives a completely wrong expectation for a downline. For your downlines, you need to be clear with them. Tell them that it is their business and they need to be responsible for it. And you are focusing on your own business. Lawrence, educate downline to take ownership. Exactly. They have to take ownership in their business. Exactly. Bunchu says, what are the 4 categories? If you want to know what the 4 categories is, come for EKW. I'll tell you later when the next EKW is happening in Malaysia. All right. So I think all of us agree here. Of course, when you first join, I mean, when your first downline first joins the business, of course you have to help. I mean, you just don't go and like, you're all your own. Right? But where's the limit? Where's the limit, guys? The limit is tell your distributors this, tell your downlines this. Okay, now you've joined the business, you are new. For your first 10 presentations or your first 10 demos, I will do the presentations for you. After the 10th presentation, you do, I will overwatch you. Is that a good expectations, I think? Yes. For the first 10, I do. After the first 10, you got to do it. You got to put some skin into the game. You got to put some effort into the game. You take care of the rest. I will guide and overwatch the whole thing. You don't just leave him be and bugger off. All right? But what happens when your distributor go like, oh, but I really don't want to do the Enagic business. I really don't want to do the presentations. I really don't want to do the demo. Then I think you're not talking to a distributor. You're talking to someone else. You're talking to an end user who just wants to refer sales. So again, different category of people that we're talking to. Yes, Rache is correct. I will help and guide you. Of course. Right? But you don't want to have that perspective where you are doing everything for your downline. Believe me, I've been through that problem. It is not nice. And the moment I mean, you will get very busy in this business. In that you will get very busy when you have a few downlines, 4 or 5 downlines. You have to take care of 5 downlines. You will not have enough time to always be there for one of your downlines. That is just facts. All right. So again, use the GPP and the 4 categories to show what is possible with the Enagic business. Don't overpromise and don't oversell. Don't give the wrong idea that this is some $1 million making business, because that will just give the wrong expectations. Educate and guide your downlines, lead them towards independence, which is duplication, right? Duplication is very important in this business. You don't want to be slaves to your downline. Okay, so now coming to the upline. Upline's expectation. This one is very, very important. I'm facing rejections left and right and center, but I'm not discouraged because I know it's the way to go. No demo, no sale, educate. Exactly, Raj. I love that statement that you say right there. No demo, no sale. If you have not been to EKW, you need to go to EKW to find out what no demo, no sale is, right? Now, upline expectations. Now, who here agrees that for you to be successful in this Enagic business, you need to have a very good relationship with your upline? Type 3 in the chat. Amazing, right? What happens when you don't have an upline who is working with you, right? You find his upline. You find your upline's upline. Now, it is very important to have an open and clear relationship with your sponsor and upline. Why is this? It's because of this. There are many times, especially the ones who have teams here, many times your upline really wants to help you. Your upline really wants to guide you, to coach you, to kickstart your business. That's what your upline really wants to do. But the problem is, we don't really explain or tell your upline on your expectations. What I mean by this is it's a bit hard for me to explain this, but let me try to figure it out in my head. Let's say you just joined this business. You're really, really excited to join the business. You're like, okay, I want to do the business, this and that. And you know that for now, you need to tap onto your upline to build this business. Your upline wants to coach you, wants to help you start your business. And he's wondering how he can do it. Because let's face it, your upline needs to know you. Upline needs to know your timetable, needs to know your schedule, needs to know your commitment level, needs to know many things. But sometimes the downline doesn't say anything. The downline just goes like, oh, yeah, I got prospect, how many demo? I got this, how many demo? That is not really only it. There's so much more to it. So the bond of an upline and a downline is very, very important. Understanding each other, understanding each other's expectations of each other. You know, what does my upline expect of me to do? What does my upline expect of me in terms of my commitment? What do I expect my upline to do for me? What do I expect my upline to teach me? And all of these things, they need to be communicated between the two parties. You know, I see a lot of discussion in the chat, and exactly, basically, if you don't kickstart the conversation with your upline and start telling him your expectations in the business, you can't expect your upline to understand you and to know, right? So have an open and clear relationship with your sponsor and upline. This will greatly improve your chances of success in the magic business. Understanding your upline's expectation in the business will help you grow teamwork and synergy. Let's take a pause here and read some comments in the chat. It's a two-way communication, establishing expectations for both parties. Exactly. I mean, I'm not an expert in it, but I believe it's a very important part, you know, and sometimes it doesn't happen. It really doesn't happen. The communication between the downline and the upline, the open communication and expression of expectations does not happen. And to be honest, that's why sometimes teams just fizzle out. That's why sometimes your upline just choose not to work with you. Not because he doesn't want to, but because he doesn't know how to work with you. Have you thought about that? Right? So if you have an upline, I mean, all of us have an upline. After this, give him a call, talk to him, share, talk about each other, open, have a good, close relationship, talk to each other, you know, share your expectations about how you intend to build this business. What are your strategies? What are your plans? What are your goals? And then discuss it with your upline. Don't be shy. All right, moving on to the last one. It is your own expectation. Before we can help our downlines teams, we need to be clear on our own expectations in the Enagic business. What are your goals? What is the vision you see for your team? Do you understand the responsibility of bringing others into the Enagic business? I think that question right there is very important. Do you understand the responsibilities of bringing others into the Enagic business? Now, I'm coming from a point of all of us here, we want to build the Enagic business. And the only way we can build the Enagic business is for us to build a team. If you want to be a super salesman and sell all direct selling, go ahead. But that's the wrong way. We all know that. For you to be truly successful in the Enagic business, you need to build a team. Building a team means introducing people into the Enagic business, sponsoring downlines. Now, I want to ask all of you guys a question here. Do you truly understand your responsibilities? Because if you're in this chat right now, and if you think that you can just introduce people and let your upline handle everything else, I'm sorry, but you're completely off. If you think that you can introduce downlines into the business, get him to attach himself to a system, and you just relax at home, I'm sorry, you're doing it wrong. If you think you can rely completely on your upline to build your team for you, you're completely wrong. Again, why? Your Enagic business is your own very business. It's your business. Your upline is just there to guide you. And and a lot of people in the Enagic business has that wrong expectations of the Enagic business. They think that, oh, okay, I have a team. I don't have to do much. I just have to introduce them to the team, introduce them to the event, introduce them to the team. I just sit back and relax. I'm doing the introduction. So wrong. I think all of us can agree here, right? So if you really want to truly build the Enagic business, you need to find out what your responsibilities are. When you invite someone to the team, you need to understand your responsibilities in the team that you're in. You need to understand the responsibilities of working in the Enagic business, technically. Right? And again, to repeat, downlines join the business because of you. So guys, I know I'm a bit lackluster here because it's a bit difficult to talk about expectations, right? I mean, because there's so many different types of expectations. There's so many ways to deal with expectations. I'm no expert in it, but I hope that by me bringing this topic up today, it brings to light a problem that most people do not try to manage. For an example, when I first started doing this business seriously, I thought managing expectations was just in the beginning of the business. But I was so wrong. Sooner or later, I found out that, hey, it's actually something that I have to do continuously every single time I meet the person, every single time I talk to my downlines. It is a continuous process in the Enagic business, literally continuous, right? So don't think that it's just from the start. So what are the results of managing expectations? It can help establish boundaries, set goals, learn more about those who you interact with. Managing expectations within yourself and your team is important to help create a positive and healthy work environment and teamwork. It creates a culture of managing expectations within your organization that will basically prevent a lot of unnecessary dramas. None of us want dramas in our business, right? And often we see misunderstandings and conflicts and disagreements with our team simply because they forgot to do one thing. They forgot to basically set expectations right from the start. All right? So managing expectations, very simple. 6 step. Make it clear to yourself. Be aware of what you need to manage. Understand why you have to manage those expectations. Pen it down. Pen it down. Discuss with your upline, your downline, your prospect, whichever. Right? And find an agreement and commit to that agreement. Now, I'm not telling you to be a tyrant. I'm not saying that this is my expectation, you need to follow it. It doesn't work that way. We're all humans, right? You need to find a middle ground. You have to basic, what's that word? I can't think of that word, but that word is in my head. Compromise, right? You have to compromise the expectations of your team, your upline, with yourself. You have to do it. It's very important. Tips to setting expectations. Practice your communication skills, right? Easier said than done. Most take this for granted. Practice open communication and transparency. Being masterclass at having difficult situations. To be honest, guys, it's all about communication and how you talk. One good way of practicing your communication skills is to actually take part in the Kangen testimony sharing. That will give you some confidence to share about yourself, get you kind of talking, right? And that will go a long way, especially when you are talking to your upline and your downline and you're having some seriously difficult conversations to have. And sometimes it involves around money. Money can be a very awkward situation to talk about. So start practicing it today. Start trying to talk open and transparent. Practice accountability. Accountability and expectation go hand in hand. Take ownership over the results, whether good or bad. Lastly, know when to say yes and no. This is where overpromising and under-delivering happens. It's more worth it not to comply with another's demands than to lose their trust. Be prepared to give and expect less because our expectations exceed the reality until we have enough battle scars. Until then, rely on your upline. Yep, exactly. Right, so guys, I've come to the end of the slides. But to be honest, there's so much to talk about when you talk about managing expectations. And I can't cover everything today. Again, I was kind of really struggling with how to express this because I feel that it's so complex. It's such a complex part, right? So